An EC 103.1 sports presentation. Eureka College Red Devils men's and women's basketball on EC 103.1.
Brewer, corner triple, knocked down. Big shot there by Michael Brewer.
This Red Devils broadcast is made possible by City Blue Technologies in Peoria, an Epson dealer serving Central Illinois with sustainable office printing solutions. By Potter Rentals in Gilman, Illinois, owned and operated by Ernie and Barb Potter, both Eureka College class of 1965. By Heartland Bank and Trust, Randy Bigol, your State Farm agent in Peoria, Eureka College class of 1994. And by Kirby Foods in Metamora.
Ogden with the dump off pass to Brown. Brown kick out. Provost three. Good.
Here's a top of the key three. Webb! And that one falls through.
Now, let's go live to the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth for coverage of today's game.
And welcome back to the broadcast here on EC 103.1. Kareem Burnett with my broadcast partner, Matthew Swan. Fourth straight road game here for the Red Devils as they take on Beloit College here in Beloit, Wisconsin. This game coming after a heartbreaking loss versus Knox College. This loss was delivered by the hands of sophomore guard Noah Campbell, game-winning go-ahead three. Final score of that game being 72-69 in favor of Knox. The Red Devils now sit at 1-4 to start the season. A bit of a rough start here after winning the season opener, now on a 4-game skid. But in good news, conference play has yet to begin, so none of these losses will officially count towards the Red Devils conference record. First conference game will be next Tuesday, November 25th versus Blackburn. Andrew Coker led the way for the Red Devils during that Knox matchup with a career-high 20 points to go along with 6 rebounds. The senior Coker has shown much improvement from last year's play and an increased role now as a legit starter. On the other side of this matchup for Beloit, they have been dealing with their own struggles. They currently sit at 1-3, getting their first win last Friday versus Mariana Baptist University after starting the season on a 3-game losing streak. From senior guard from Chicago, Samaj Roy leading the way for the Buccaneers, averaging 16 points to go alongside 10 rebounds a game on a nice 45% shooting from the field. Matthew, we're down here in Beloit right now here to watch this game. What are some notes you have from that last game from Knox? I do want to apologize to all our listeners out there as we couldn't cover that game. We're dealing with some technical issues on our end, but we have all things worked out now, and we're going to be covering the rest of the games this season. Matthew, what do you got?
Yeah, well, Kareem, you mentioned, unfortunately, the Red Devils were unable to come up with that win, but overall it was a hard-fought matchup, and before the game even started, we were taking a look. On paper, both teams had, I believe, the same record overall, so it was, based off of their record, it was a fairly evenly matched. But the Red Devils, their biggest struggle this season, which we keep referring to, it has been allowing their opponent to dominate the offensive glass. The Red Devils in that game allowed Knox to obtain 17 second-chance points, and the Red Devils only lost by 3 in the last few seconds of the game. So you have to take a look and say, we need our guys to get in the paint. We need them to kind of out-rebound our opponent here, and that's something Eureka struggled with. So look forward to the Red Devils overcoming that lack and disadvantage here tonight. But as we move over to Beloit, they're only 1-3 to start the season. They just recently came off of their first win, as you mentioned. One of their biggest players, Samaj Roy, who is in his 5th year, he is going to be the biggest factor in this game for the Buccaneers. He ranks 2nd nationally in double-doubles and 25th in rebounds per game. He's also averaging 16 points per game. That is not something a lot of players at the Division III level are able to say, Kareem. And, of course, we always say you can't rely on a single player. Beloit hasn't done that. They also have their junior guard, Anthony Carter, who is a very important factor. 13 points per game for him. But despite their successful offense, the Bucks heavily rely on their defense. That's where all of their power comes from. They rank 15th nationally in scoring defense, 60 points per game allowed for their opponents. And there are a lot of other factors that go into it. But this is a game Eureka's really going to have to step up and be a little bit more aggressive than what we're used to, and I think they're going to be able to do that here tonight.
Absolutely, Matthew. You touched on one thing. The last thing I want to touch on before we get up out of here soon is rebounding. The Red Devils have struggled all season long with the rebounding category. I know we're not the tallest team in terms of height, but a lot of times our rebounds come down to effort. We go back a few weeks ago. I forget which matchup that was, but the Red Devils, that was against Monmouth. The Red Devils were struggling on the long rebounds, getting some of those rebounds that were coming out to three-point misses, and that's going to be a point of interest tonight as we look on the opposite side. You just mentioned Samaj Roy averages 10 rebounds a game as a guard, and I would guarantee a lot of those rebounds are just coming from him using his speed, his athleticism, his jumping ability to get after both offensive and defensive rebounds, and a lot of those probably come from long rebounds after three-point misses. So the Red Devils are really going to have to body up and box out these defenders when the shot goes up. We need all hands on deck. Matthew, any closing remarks before we get up out of here?
Well, you said it. You mentioned the physicality of this Beloit team, and that's what they have. They have a lot of big bodies here on the floor, and something that we preach from time and time again, Eureka tends to get kind of outmatched in the physical aspect of the game. So it's really a matter of beating your opponent to the paint, getting those offensive boards, and hopefully Eureka can come up with a win here tonight.
All right, that's all we have for the opening. Matthew Swan, Kareem Burnett. You guys are listening in to EC 103.1 from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth. We'll be right back after this short break with tip-off.
Looking to rep your Red Devils pride? Swing by the Red Devil Depot, Eureka College's one-stop shop for all things maroon and gold. Located inside the Surf Center on South Burgess Street, they are open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Grab hats, hoodies, t-shirts, and more, including exclusive EC 103.1 gear. That's right, EC 103.1 hoodies and tees are in stock and ready to rock. Don't miss out on the freshest campus merch. This is Eureka. This is Red Devils Nation.
Eureka College basketball is made possible by Potter Rentals of Gilman, Illinois. Owned and operated by Ernie and Barb Folkers Potter, both Eureka College class 1965. Potter Rentals offers both residential and commercial property rentals, including vacation rentals in beautiful Prescott, Arizona. You can get more information on their website at potterrentals.com.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
when the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
And welcome back. Got the national anthem going right now. Starting lineups to be announced shortly. But me and Matthew are going to stay here with you guys and kind of talk it over a bit. Any expectations, any starting lineup switches that you can kind of predict here for the Red Devils, Matthew?
Well, Kareem, you asked me about kind of these switches here for Eureka. I think the biggest, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I think the biggest key here for the Red Devils is relying on Jackson Provost. He's been a huge aspect in this game overall for the Red Devils this season. He ranks top 50 in numerous categories for NCAA Division III. That includes field goal attempts with 67, field goals made with 34, and points with 92. We talk a lot about guys stepping up this season for Eureka. We know that they lost a lot of their seniors last year. Guys like you have, Pee Wee Brown and a few others as well that obviously aren't going to be playing this season. And that, we've been relying on new guys to step up, and that's exactly what guys like Jackson Provost have done. We know Andrew Coker as well, who you mentioned in the pregame. He comes in averaging 9.8 points per game. And these are not guys that we're used to mentioning in the broadcast, so they've really stepped up in these first 4 games of the season, and I think they're going to be a key factor to look out for. But also, you and I were talking before the broadcast, we were talking a little bit about Colin Delary. Now, Delary, he's not a guy that we see a lot of in the game. He comes off the bench a lot. He is a bench player, and he's in his senior year at Eureka. Because he doesn't get a lot of playing time, we don't really have an exact scouting report on his gameplay. But we've seen him a few times here and there. He is a very nifty player, and if he gets on the floor, he's going to make a very good effort. He's going to make a lot of great moves. He gets to the basket. He drives. He is very aggressive, and that's what we're looking for from this Eureka offense.
Absolutely, Matt. We will need some help in the aggression aspect of our team. We could stand to be a bit more aggressive maybe, and that's kind of showing how we miss a guy like Pee Wee Brown from last year who put a lot of pressure on the ball and was able to get to the free throw line a lot just by attacking and not always looking to make the basket, but sometimes just looking to draw contact. And sometimes when you aren't able to get points on the board, getting to the free throw line is the next best thing, and a lot of times it can keep you in potential blowout games. But we got starting lineups here. Tip-offs beginning right now for the Red Devils. It's going to be Brewer, Coker, Carter, Provost, and Richardson.
Well, and Kareem, I will say the last time these two teams faced off was actually last year in November in Eureka. Beloit did win that game 77-70. So hopefully the Red Devils can kind of overturn that aspect here tonight.
And here we go to start it in the hands of Roy. Gets it over to Glenn. It's now Lewis with it, left wing triple. And we're going to get an early triple from Carter there. Going to be a miss. The second leading scorer here for this Beloit team. And Jackson Provost walks into an easy triple to give the Red Devils their first point of the night.
And see, that's what we're looking for. Jackson Provost on the other end of the floor, picked off the offensive board, and then he comes up with a pull-up three. A very great start for Eureka.
Dribble handoff action here between Glenn and Schubert. Now Glenn, top of the key, gets it over to Roy. Roy going to find Lewis. Lewis going to fire one up from deep, and Lewis able to match Jackson Provost's own three with his own.
Well, we talked earlier about you can't give this Beloit offense a lot of space because they will knock down that shot most of the time.
He had a little backdoor lob action from Ben Carter to Andrew Coker that wasn't successful as Coker tried to get a basket, but instead it's going to be pulled down. Lewis with it now, pushing center court.
And see, Coker needs to take advantage of those looks. The pass was right there. He was right underneath the basket, and he's just unable to come up with the bucket.
We have a pull-up from Glenn there that was no good. Red Devils pull it down. It's Ben Carter pushing it left corner, slowing it down, looking for a guard here. Carter about free throw lane, and he's going to throw it away. Lewis picks it up, driving, attacking, and Lewis is able to draw the foul going against Jackson Provost.
Well, Kareem, you and I, we've broadcasted a couple games now for Eureka this season, and we know when they tend to pick up the pace, they make mistakes. What kind of advice would you give them, and do you think maybe that they should slow things down a little bit?
Yeah, you like to push the pace in basketball to try to get some leak outs, get some easy points, some layups to get going. But this early on in the game, not really a need to push the pace. You can kind of slow it down and feel the game out here. Not really sure what the game plan was going in. Obviously, I wasn't in the locker room or anything like that to hear Coach Chip talk about those type of things. But early on to start the game, I would definitely try to feel it out more than push the pace and lead to some easy turnovers and easy baskets like this early on, which is something you want to avoid so very early in this ball game. But it's Micah Brewer with it now. Lewis applying heavy pressure against him. Ball is stripped out of the hands of Max Richardson. It's Carter with it now. Tried to get it to Lewis, and he kind of caught his own pass. He shouldn't have been able to do that. Should have been a travel, but instead he's going to get an and one, as that foul is going to go against Ben Carter. And that was a bang-bang play. Carter looked like Carter fouled Carter. Ben Carter fouled Anthony Carter. Anthony Carter looked like he tried to pass the ball ahead to Lewis, but I'm not sure if the ball was tipped or the refs just missed a call there. But either way, it will be Anthony Carter converting the and one, the 3-point play to give the Buccaneers a 8-3 5-point lead to start it early. And we have some substitutions as Jacob Gonzalez has came in for the Red Devils. Jackson Provost picked up 2 early fouls.
Yeah, well, Kareem, back to the pace of play here for Eureka. Last year, too, they actually led against Beloit at the end of the first half. But because they picked up the pace and they weren't able to maintain and play at that level, they ended up giving Beloit a 9-0 run, which is what allowed the Bucks to really kind of drift off and end up winning that ball game. So like you said, they're going to have to slow things down in the early stages here tonight.
Red Devils swinging it around. Andrew Coker able to get a mid-range jumper up right before the shot clock expired.
Oh, remember, Coker's coming off career-high 20-point game, so he is in his feels right now in a good way.
And the score clock, bit of a malfunction here. And it's Glenn with a bit of a pick and pop action as he got the pass from Lewis.
Yeah, again, the 3-point shooting for Beloit only works if you leave them wide open. They're not a team that takes a lot of threes, but when they start to get comfortable, they're going to start taking those shots, and as you can see, it's working out for them.
It's Coker inside Richardson. Richardson swing pass. Carter triple, won't go. Ball pulled down by Coker. Offensive rebound, and Andrew Coker back-to-back baskets for the Red Devils.
Well, what did we talk about in the pregame? That's exactly what we mentioned. You need to beat your opponent to the paint, be aggressive, and Coker, he's been fighting all game so far, and we're not even a full 5 minutes in.
And there's Lewis. He got a bit of a hit in his jump shot, shoots it almost one-handed, but they go back to that pick and pop play. They're not able to score on that one. It's now in the hands of Coker. Going to slow it down here and get it to Micah Brewer.
Yeah, and if you needed any more proof, Beloit, they can't knock down the threes if you're heavily defending them. As you can see,
Carter on the attack, going against Roy, up over, almost good. Instead, Ben Carter able to draw the foul, going to earn himself a trip to the line. Red Devils trailing right now by 4, 11-7. What about 6:13 remaining in this first half?
Eureka College basketball is made possible by City Blue Technologies of Peoria, an Epson distributor serving Central Illinois. City Blue offers Epson Precision Core heat-free printing as an alternative to laser printers. City Blue was founded in 1968 and serves more than 5,000 active customers. Learn about sustainable printing solutions from City Blue Technologies at citybluetechnologies.com.
City Blue Technologies. Ben Carter going over on that trip from the line. His ball is pulled down by Schubert. Now in the hands of Carter. Up ahead, tried to get it to Glenn. Some great hustle there by Richardson to deflect what would have been a fast break layup, a transition bucket. Instead, it's going to be Beloit to inbound it underneath Eureka's basket.
Well, I definitely like the aggression transitioning into defense, but as we know, Eureka needs to knock down their free throws. That is the reason why they actually ended up almost losing their season opener on the road against Dominican. And right now, coming into this game, they're shooting 67.4% from the line, so not terrible.
Carter, right wing triple up and won't go. Nearly pulled down by Schubert. Richardson was able to seal that rebound. Now Gonzalez, dribble handoff Brewer. Got some right wing action working. Brewer, pump fakes, up, over, won't go. Ball nearly pulled down by Glenn. Instead, it's going to be Coker getting the over the back foul here, I believe. Ball going to stay here with Beloit. Red Devils trailed this game by 4, 11-7. It's going to be Lewis to inbound it to Carter here.
Well, we like the aggression, but there is a such thing as too much aggression. I think Coker got a little too excited there on the foul.
Absolutely. Coker hustling there, but it's Lewis with it now. Hands off Roy. Roy hasn't been active yet, the leading scorer for this Buccaneers team. It's now Lewis in the left corner with it. Brewer guarding him. Swing top of the key, Carter tries to feed it into Glenn, and Richardson with another deflection there. Gonzalez pushing his center court, getting to the basket, and one. Jacob Gonzalez, a blur in the backcourt, is able to push it up the center and get a basket here for the Red Devils, a potential three-point play. The Red Devils trail this game by 2, 9-11.
We say it all the time, Jacob Gonzalez is one of the best players coming off of the bench for this Red Devils team. And that is just a very effective play, not only on account of Max Richardson on defense, but for Gonzalez to push the pace, fight through contact, draw to the basket, and knock it down, and have the opportunity for another point.
And Gonzalez is able to knock down his free throw, finishing the three-point play. And Red Devils now trail this game by 1, 11-10, with a little over 15 remaining in this first half.
Yeah, and right now you can see Eureka, it looks like, especially at the top of the key, they're providing a little too much space, and that's something that Beloit is known to take advantage of. So Eureka's going to have to close up this gap a little bit as they transition back into defense.
Emerson and Davis checked into this game during those Jacob Gonzalez free throws, and it was Emerson missing a baby hook down there, which led to a Red Devils possession. And now Micah Brewer is going to get to the line after being fouled by Roy.
Well, we said there's a lot of big bodies on this Beloit team, and on that last play, Brewer going up to the rim, he kind of got pushed around a little bit, and that really interfered with the accuracy of his shot. But the positive thing is that he is sent to the line.
Brewer is able to give the Red Devils the lead here, 12-11. After that made free throw there, it's now in the hands of Carter. Coker picking him up. He's done an excellent job here being a harassing defender. Emerson hands off. Roy, his first jumper, and we got a blocking foul. I believe going to go against Emerson. It will go against Emerson. It's going to be Red Devils basketball.
Yeah, well, up to this game, it's been a pretty clean match, but I'm sure the Red Devils will happily take that. And see, this is what happens in the first 5 minutes or so in the game. Kareem, you and I were just talking about Eureka pushing the pace. All of a sudden, they've slowed things down, and now they have the lead by a single point. So that kind of goes hand in hand.
As Brewer, Schubert switched off on him, and Brewer able to use that speed against the slow-footed big, rises up for the mid-range jump shot. Red Devils now lead this game by 3, 14-11.
Brewer looks like he's starting to get a little comfortable. All he has to do is set his feet, and he will be the most accurate shooter that you know.
Beloit trying to work the ball around the perimeter, loses it, and it's Gonzalez pushing it right wing, up over, and ball going to go off of Schubert. It'll stay here with the Red Devils. And those are one of those transition plays we talk about with the Red Devils that maybe you could aim to slow it down a bit there. Gonzalez did have success on the last play when he pushed it in transition. But this time, not as much. It didn't lead to a turnover, so we'll stay here. Richardson fires up a corner triple. Not able to get that one. Ball is pulled down by Carter. He pushes it left wing, gives it over to Lewis. Lewis thought about a triple. Instead, the Buccaneers going to work it here. Davis trying to work inside the post against Gonzalez, and he's able to.
Well, that's really good effort by Gonzalez down in the paint, but at the same time, that's where you want some of your other defenders to come and help you out, because like we said, this Beloit team, they have a lot of big guys who are very capable of knocking down that shot.
It's Coker with it. Emerson guarding him. Gonzalez up top. Lewis picking him up. 12 seconds on the shot clock. Red Devils being patient with the possession. They got to make a move now. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Gonzalez hands it off. Coker. 4 on the shot clock. Stop. Pop midi. No good. Ball is pulled down by Davis. Now in the hands of Lewis. Up ahead, Carter. Carter with it, right wing. Gonna slow it down here. Ben Carter guarding him. Goes back to the Davis post touch. He has Brewer guarding him. Davis, step back midi. Won't get this one pulled down by Ben Carter. He's up the middle with it in transition. Carter thought about it, hands it off to Gonzalez instead. Gonzalez gives it to Brewer. Brewer driving inside, looking for a shot. Picks up his dribble. It's Davis checking Gonzalez up top now. 15 on the shot clock. Red Devils have slowed it down here after initially trying to push the pace when they first got the rebound. 7 seconds on the shot clock now. Gonzalez making it move. Gives it to Coker. Nearly lost it. 3 seconds on the shot clock. Gonna lose it. And Beloit with some harassing defense there. These back-to-back possessions. We got some substitutions. Colin Delaire coming in for the Red Devils here, along with Jackson Provost.
Well, we talked about how effective this Buccaneers defense is, and they're showing you exactly why they're able to win a lot of these games, especially their last game, according to their defense. But actually, I want to go back to Davis in the post a couple plays ago. You know, Beloit, they don't get called for a lot of...
Carter, left wing triple, is able to knock that down and take the lead back for the Buccaneers, giving them a 2-point lead, 16-14, with about 12 remaining here.
But as I was saying, the Bucs don't get called for a lot of offensive fouls, so that's something Eureka's going to have to kind of highlight as well.
It's Coker with it now. Lewis picking up the defensive intensity. Inside, Colin Delaire working against Emerson. Up under layup, no good, and a bit of a wild shot selection there for Colin Delaire as Geiger gets up a right wing triple, trying to knock the roof off the building, and instead it's going to be Gonzalez pulling it down and slowing things down here for the Red Devils.
Eureka caught a little bit of a break there. Geiger, again, we talk about spacing. You cannot give him that much spacing because once he knocks down one triple, they're going to get comfortable, and it will keep happening over and over.
And a bit of a tight pass made there by Jackson Provost as he was double-teamed on the baseline, able to get it to Gonzalez. Gonzalez, with a bit of a close-range floater, is able to tie things up at 16 apiece here.
Yeah, like you said, that ties things up, and that court vision by Provost really allows Eureka to settle.
Davis, pull-up mid-range, good. Daquan Davis, the Chicago native, with his 4th point here for the Buccaneers as they take the lead back 18-16. Gonzalez walking the ball up. Carter against him. Now in the hands of Coker. Coker looking for a Colin Delaire post touch on that left elbow. Dribble handoff to Provost. Provost with a brush screen from Delaire. Provost trying to make his move against Carter. Up under, no good. Ball is pulled down by Geiger. We got a tie up between Delaire and Geiger. We're going to get a jump ball. Ball going to stay here with the Red Devils. It'll be a fresh 30-second shot clock. A 20-second shot clock. This ball remains in possession of the Red Devils.
Well, that's great effort by Delaire. If he doesn't go in for that basketball, then it's in favor of Beloit, and they'll have possession. But with Eureka already being down by 2, you obviously don't want them to have that chance to even further extend their lead.
Gonzalez in the Provost. Provost finds Delaire. Free throw range jumper. No good. Tapped out by Gonzalez. Red Devils able to keep it. Great hustle on the glass. It's Jonah Loft. Snaking baseline. Picks up his dribble. Swings it back out. Provost. 14 on the shot clock. Finds a cutting Delaire. Nearly lost it. Loft in the corner. Swings up top Provost. Ball was too high on that pass. It's going to be Davis driving against Carter. Davis almost able to get the floater. Ball is pulled down by Loft. Now in the hands of Gonzalez. Slowing it down here. And bit of a Red Devils need to slow it down. Some back-to-back wild passes. You had a wild layup attempt from Delaire. And they're letting this Buccaneers defense just push them all over the place. And they really got to slow things down here. They're going way too fast and making some just unnecessary mistakes as we see Glenn check back into this game for Schubert.
Well, Kareem, you said it perfectly. And a couple of times now we've seen multiple Red Devils players end up on the floor, and that's because they're taking a lot of hard hits, and this Beloit defense is making them work extra hard just to get to the basket. But like you said, it's a messy game right now for Eureka. Passing is all over the place. Shooting is all over the place. So, yeah, they really need to relax a little bit and find their rhythm.
We have Dylan Lawson checking into the game for the first time this half, and we're going to get an over-the-back foul going against the Red Devils. Not quite sure who that foul was called on. Oh, I believe that foul is going to be called on Delaire, Colin Delaire. So, as you just said, Matthew, some messy plays for the Red Devils. We had a Colin Delaire wild layup. We had some wild passes that led to turnovers. And now an over-the-back foul going against Delaire. Red Devils just too aggressive here and too jittery in this game so far. They need to slow it down how they did a few minutes ago to kind of calm the seas here as Glenn is getting a post touch against Delaire. It's Geiger with it, pulls up mid-range and good. Geiger is able to score over 2 Red Devil defenders to give his team a 4-point lead with about 9 minutes, 15 seconds remaining in this first half.
Yeah, way to use that height advantage over Jackson Provost. Just a very accurate shooter, and he puts the Bucks up by 4. But Kareem, you mentioned Dylan Logsdon checking into the game. He actually ended up missing the first couple of games here for Eureka with that ankle injury, but he did have 3 minutes against Knox on the road last time out, and he is averaging a little under a point per game, but he did start to develop under that category this season, so it's good to see him back on the floor.
Be Micah Brewer to inbound it for the Red Devils. Provost swing pass to Logsdon, refines Brewer in that corner, and a great play there as Micah Brewer was able to relocate from the inbounds pass, being the inbound man, all the way to the corner to get a swing pass from Dylan Logsdon.
One of the best three-point shooters on this Eureka team. He's so smooth releasing that basketball.
Absolutely. Geiger making his drive up, over, and good. Excuse me, that was Walker, Austin Walker, who scored that basket for the Buccaneers to increase their lead to 3, 22-19 here.
And there's some miscommunication between Brewer and Provost. Another turnover here against Eureka.
And now the crowd is starting to get into it as the Red Devils have just been overzealous in their attempts to move the ball. There's nothing wrong with some good ball movement there, but it has to be ball movement with purpose. You can't just fling around a bunch of wild passes and expect a good shot out of it. We've seen the Red Devils did draw up a great inbounds play on that Micah Brewer triple, where he was able to come from the right side of the basket, inbounding the ball to the left corner and get an easy look. Plays like that are amazing. Those are the plays you want in a basketball game, but a bunch of wild passes along the three-point line while the other team is playing harassing defense isn't what you want. Anthony Carter drives on that play, and the Red Devils force their own turnovers here. They get, as Micah Brewer gets the steal, swing pass Dylan Logsdon in the corner, tight roping baseline, and Dylan Logsdon going to step out of bounds as he tried to get around that baseline and pass it to Provost on the opposite baseline. And those are some of those plays that we talk about that need to be tightened up. The Red Devils have kind of been going to that baseline over and over, and you never want to abuse the baseline because the baseline acts as a secondary defender when you already have one primary defender and then a help side defender. But it's Schubert with it for Beloit. Top of the key mid-range, won't go. Ball is pulled down by Glenn. Thomas Glenn has been an amazing factor on the glass so far for Beloit, and definitely going to get a travel here from Schubert as he jumped up, spun, and landed on 2 feet, and refs couldn't help but call that one.
Yeah, for a minute I didn't think they were going to call it, but it's good to see that Red Devils get the basketball again. But now, Kareem, back to what you were saying, I mean, even, Brewer taking the ball up the floor, his pass again was almost out of bounds. It kind of threw Dylan Logsdon off balance, and that, I believe, is what forced him to go out of bounds and turn it over.
Jonah Loft with it now. Glenn guarding him. Loft nearly lost it on the dribble move, not his expertise. Colin Delaire driving in, using his 2 steps, up and over, no good. Tip it out. Ball back in the hands of Loft. Swing pass, Logsdon, corner triple, no good. Anthony Carter able to secure the rebound for Beloit. And it's Anthony Carter and Jonah Loft getting tied up there.
And this is just becoming a really aggressive basketball game. I would argue this is probably one of the most aggressive games we've seen, but, we talked about wanting to see aggression, but like I said, there is a such thing as too much aggression, and, right now that is what is kind of forcing Eureka to not really play to the pace that they're used to.
Absolutely. I have to give credit where it is due. This Beloit College defense has been smothering so far. They're scrambling, they're rotating, they're helping, and they're forcing the Red Devils to drive baseline, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, so that baseline can act as a third or sometimes third defender there. And they've just done a very good job at communicating without talking, and that's just praise to how they're coached and how they practice. These guys are on a string so far, defensively getting in passing lanes and forcing the Red Devils to throw some pretty risky passes here, and it's led to some turnovers and some buckets for Beloit. But it'll be Walker bringing it up here for Beloit, slowing things down. Dribble handoff to Carter. He has Logsdon guarding him. He got a bit of a double screen there from Glenn. He set one screen and set another on the other side. And it's Walker driving in, up over Loft, not able to get it. Pulled down by Provost. Ball was tapped last by Reed. So ball will stay with the Red Devils. They'll inbound it underneath Beloit's basket.
Yeah, and, we're talking so much about the negative aspect of Eureka, but in all reality, they're only down by a few points, so it's not as bad as we're making it sound, but they do need to start converting here.
And that Micah Brewer left wing triple isn't able to fall, and ball is pulled down by Walker. That is a great point to emphasize, Matthew, as bad as they've been at maintaining, the ball and making crisp passes. They're only down 3 here as Walker misses that 3, and Anthony Carter gets the offensive rebound, and he's able to score over Colin Delaire to make that a 5-point lead for the Buccaneers.
Again, the Red Devils just aren't where they need to be in the post right now, and those are just another 2 points that Beloit's going to be able to walk away with at the end of the first half that they shouldn't have gotten.
Provost post work, kicks it out, Logsdon, left wing triple, not able to get that one. And Dylan Logsdon has missed a couple open wide opportunities here from the 3-point line, hasn't been able to convert. Walker up ahead, Carter, right corner triple, and he's going to be fouled by Dylan Logsdon. That will earn him 3 free throws at the line here.
Eureka College basketball is made possible by Potter Rentals of Gilman, Illinois. Owned and operated by Ernie and Barb Folkers Potter, both Eureka College class 1965. Potter Rentals offers both residential and commercial property rentals, including vacation rentals in beautiful Prescott, Arizona. You can get more information on their website at potterrentals.com.
Anthony Carter lining up his first free throw here. He's able to knock that one down, pushing the lead up to 6 for the Buccaneers. Matthew, what has gone wrong so far for the Red Devils in these first 14 minutes of gameplay?
Like we keep emphasizing, they are moving way too fast for their own liking. And we've seen from Eureka a lot of sloppy passes, a lot of sloppy shots. Even on that last possession, Dylan Logsdon went up for a triple, and it hit off the side of the backboard. So really, they just need to slow things down here. But, Kareem, I actually have a question for you, and this is just out of curiosity. But, we see Eureka pushing the pace. Is this something that maybe they just have too much adrenaline? Because obviously you have played basketball, so I'm just trying to understand the perspective from somebody who has been in their shoes before.
Well, I did play high school basketball, not D3 college, but I will say I would credit a lot of this to the Beloit defense just forcing, as we see here, Anthony Carter picking up Micah Brewer full court. It's forcing the Red Devils to make quick, fast-paced decisions, and a lot of times the Red Devils are making moves before they're able to think it out there, as almost another turnover there from Provost as Reed was able to get his hand on that ball. And a lot of times when teams are pressuring up on you like this, they're just trying to force you to move without thinking. And so far, Beloit has done a great job there. And also, as we keep mentioning, this is, this is all done on purpose. Like this style of defense, they're forcing the Red Devils to catch the ball in the corners or on the baseline so they can use the out-of-bounds lines as secondary or sometimes third defenders. I know I sound like a broken record saying this, as Jackson Provost is able to knock down the free throw, cutting the lead down to 7. But that's absolutely what's happening right here. The Red Devils just have to slow things down and be a bit more crisp and not as sloppy with their passing, as Jackson Provost misses that second free throw there, and Roy pulls the ball down. It's now in the hands of Reed. Provost guarding him. Handed off by Glenn. Roy from deep, and Samad Roy, the leading scorer for the Buccaneers, is able to get his first basket here to give the Buccaneers a 10-point lead.
Well, he's averaging 16 points a game, and when you leave him wide open like that, that pretty much sums up why.
And they're going to take a timeout, so we'll take a quick timeout ourselves. But we'll be right back with basketball coverage here on EC 103.1.
Eureka College basketball is made possible by Heartland Bank and Trust, serving 48 communities throughout Illinois and eastern Iowa, including Washington, Metamora, El Paso, Germantown Hills, Carlock, and in Eureka. Their main branch is on Main Street downtown, and their drive-up and ATM is nearby on Center Street. And find Heartland Bank and Trust anywhere at htmbank.com.
And welcome back to the broadcast here on EC 103.1, brought to you by the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth. Cream Burnett and Matthew Swan on the call per usual. Red Devils trail this game by 10, 30-20, with about 5:17 remaining in this first half. Before we went to break, we were discussing some of the Red Devils' turnovers and Beloit's defense. Matthew, if you just want to re-harp on some of those points, not repeat what we said, but just kind of discuss what we were talking about.
Yeah, so Eureka obviously moving a bit too fast on offense, but like you mentioned, the Beloit defense, they are starting to figure out how Eureka positions themselves on the floor. So the Buccaneers here are starting to defend the Red Devils in such a way that forces them to turn the ball over, forces them to make sloppy plays, and that is why Beloit has been given the opportunity to really thrive back on offense after transitioning, and all of a sudden they have a 10-point lead with about 5 minutes to go.
And Max Richardson is able to get the basket, cutting basket after Micah Brewer found him for the assist. While we were in that timeout, Damaj Moore checked into the game for the Red Devils. Thomas Glenn with a top-of-the-key triple for the Buccaneers, no good, but an offensive rebound was pulled down by Reed, and then he was fouled by Moore, so ball will stay here with Beloit.
Yeah, and again, one of the things you mentioned was specifically from Beloit is Glenn's weird three-point shooting. He has such a weird form when he shoots the ball, but even though he missed, he was left pretty wide open. That's not something Eureka is supposed to do. They understand that, yet they're still giving the Bucks a lot of space here, and they're lucky that it's only an 8-point game because a lot of these threes that the Bucks have missed have been wide open.
Brewer over to Gonzalez. Carter, Red Devils slowing it down a bit here now. We got some backdoor screen action. Carter gets it inside Richardson. Richardson posting up against Glenn, trying to make his move. Swings it back out Gonzalez. 9 seconds on the shot clock now. Red Devils have wasted a lot of time here. 5 seconds, they got to make a move. And this is about the 4th or 5th time the Red Devils have been forced to throw up a shot late in the clock whistle. And Gonzalez able to draw the foul call against Thomas, so he'll earn himself a trip to the line.
Yeah, the fans really don't like that call, but I think the ref got it right. Eureka College basketball is made possible by Heartland Bank and Trust, serving 48 communities throughout Illinois and eastern Iowa, including Washington, Metamora, El Paso, Germantown Hills, Carlock, and in Eureka. Their main branch is on Main Street downtown, and their drive-up and ATM is nearby on Center Street. And find Heartland Bank and Trust anywhere at htmbank.com.
Gonzalez not able to make that first free throw, trying to make this second one here to cut into that lead, and he's able to do it. Red Devils now trail this game by 7, 23-30. 4.5 remaining in this first half. And Red Devils not out of this game at all, not in the slightest, only trailing by 7. Just a 3-possession ball game here, so the Red Devils could make a push to make things even more interesting as we get closer to the end of this first half. It's Roy with it now, Moore guarding him. Inside to Lewis. Lewis top of the key to Schubert. Davis working against Carter, and Davis has been great on that right baseline, using his shoulders to bump his defender, even though Davis doesn't seem like he's all that big of a dude on the mass size. He's great at using his angles, his shoulders, his elbows, and his forearm to block off his defenders, and he's great at backing them down, getting them where he wants to, and just rising up to take a floater. Ben Carter drives in, and ball is smacked out. And I thought that ball was definitely smacked out by Schubert. Ref going to argue different, so the ball will stay here with Beloit. They lead this game by 9 following that Davis bucket.
Yeah, and actually back to the Davis bucket. Davis is actually 2 inches shorter than Ben Carter, so props to him for knocking it down.
And Samaj Roy with a crossover step-back move there on the left wing to give the Buccaneers a 12-point lead here with about 3:30 remaining.
Well, again, he's in his 5th year at Beloit, and he is shooting 200% from behind the arc, and that number just went up.
Carter with it now, calling for play calling here, calling for the Richardson screen. Gives it to Richardson. Richardson inside to Moore. Moore with Davis guarding him. Moore, step back jumper, and we're gonna get a travel call, I believe, going against Moore. Not quite sure what that hand signal was from the ref. I never seen that one, but either way, it will be a turnover in favor of Beloit. They'll have the ball. Carter with it now. Gonzalez picking him up. Red Devils now trail this game by 12 after we were just talking about how close they were. As we got close to the end of this first half, it's Davis with it now. Carter guarding him. Davis working against Carter. And Davis up and over Carter for the and one. Daquan Davis up to about 10 points so far. He's putting on a master class in this game. He's going to the same spots. That's a guy who really knows his spots. As he got his first 4 buckets on the right side and that last bucket on the left side, but it's all come on the low block almost. And it's kind of crazy positioning for a guard to get this many low post touches. They're almost clearing the floor out for the side of the ball he's going to get it on and then just let him go to work. And as I mentioned a few minutes ago, he's been great so far at using those angles to get his shots up. And now Beloit is looking at a 16-point lead, 39-23 here in favor of the Buccaneers.
Yeah, and the contact he's able to create against Carter gives him the right amount of spacing, just enough to get the shot up. And if you're Carter, you really can't do much about that.
Moore, pull up midi, no good. Tapped out by Carter. Gonzalez able to save it. Almost got it to Moore. Up ahead, Lewis dumps off to Roy, and Roy is able to score the basket there. Roy believed he was fouled on that play. Ref's not going to call it. But Buccaneers now have a 17-point lead, 40-23. They're going to take a timeout. We'll take a quick timeout ourselves. Then we'll be right back with basketball coverage here on ECTV.
Eureka College basketball is made possible by Metamora Kirby Foods. They are 100% employee-owned, with a deli, produce section, and meat department with its own in-house butcher. Metamora Kirby Foods is open from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m., 7 days a week. They are located on West Mount Vernon Street in Metamora. Get more information at kirbyfoods.com.
And welcome back to the broadcast here on EC 103.1 from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth. Cream Burnett, Matthew Swan on the call. And Red Devils have let Beloit go on a 10-0 run after trailing by 7. They now trail this game by 17. Just what, a 2-3 minute span, it feels like, Matthew, with about 2:20 remaining in this game. 40-23 is the score. What would the Red Devils need to do in these last 2 minutes, Matthew, to make it competitive?
Well, I think they need to drive to the basket. They're going to have to find a way to go up against some of these bigger guys. I understand that it's difficult, but the three-point shooting right now for Eureka hasn't been very successful. So try to get the closer looks, and hopefully that'll light a spark and get this offense going.
Absolutely, and it's Davis who's had the hot hand. Up top, Lewis thought about it, fly by 3, was going for it, instead going to get called for the travel as he moved that pivot before he was able to put the ball on the hardwood.
Yeah, and that's kind of the starting point to gaining some momentum over time.
Absolutely, Matt. Red Devils able to force a unforced turnover as Lewis traveled. Coker with it now, inside Moore on the right elbow, back to Coker. Now he has the right elbow, working against Lewis, and Coker dribble move a bit sloppy there as he lost the ball on an attempted crossover against Lewis. Ball will now be with Beloit.
Yeah, the Bucks, they've, like you said, they've been able to really extend their lead over these last 5 minutes or so, and this, lack of effort from Eureka right now has really played a part in Beloit starting to dial up the heat a little bit.
Carter triple no good. It's Richardson with it. Thought about it. Richardson baseline pass to Coker, and Coker with another turnover, back-to-back turnovers for Coker off field dribble moves. Schubert with it inside to Davis. Ball deflected by Gonzalez. Less than 1 minute remaining on the game clock. And Anthony Carter with a bit of a smitty there. Half spin into a full spin to get the bucket for the Buccaneers. Beloit College now up by 19 in this game. And this game has gotten away from the Red Devils fast. 40 seconds on the game clock. Gonzalez, fading floater, good, and Jacob Gonzalez with a prayer floater, able to get it to go there. Cut the lead back down to 17. And it's Anthony Carter here. Going to look for as close to the last shot as possible, I would guess, as he looked up at the game clock, and the game clock and shot clock separated by a little over 2.5 seconds.
Well, you summed it up perfectly. It doesn't really look like Eureka has a game plan offensively right now, so hopefully they can figure something out.
Swing pass to Lewis. Turnover there, so it will be the Red Devils with the last shot of the first half. Hopefully, if they play their cards right. And 2 back-to-back unforced turnovers there for Coker on attempted crossover moves. Kind of lost his handle, lost his footing there. Yeah. Matthew, those turnovers have kind of killed us in this first half.
Yeah, and, you know, that's something that Coker needs to decide what he wants to do with the basketball a lot faster. He looked like he wanted to go for a pass, and then he kind of, in between that decision, he decided, wait, no, I actually want to hold on to the basketball, take it to the rim, and in that process, he ended up losing possession.
Gonzalez, 4 seconds on the shot clock in the half, 2 seconds, and gets his shot up, and not able to get it to go. Gonzalez missed the last second shot there. Red Devils in this first half, trailing by 17, 25-42 here. Matthew, we've watched this entire first half. What has gone wrong so far for the Red Devils?
Well, they are moving way too quickly on offense, and that has forced them to turn the ball over multiple times. It's really hard to go up against one of the best defenses in NCAA Division III, as we are seeing here from Beloit. So hopefully, after coming back out after halftime, Eureka will have maybe a different game plan, and they'll be a little bit more wise about their decision making.
Hopefully the Red Devils can make those adjustments. But that's all we have here for first half coverage on EC 103.1 from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth. Kareem Burnett, Matthew Swan will be back with second half coverage here.
Eureka College basketball is made possible by Randy Begole, a State Farm agent in Peoria. Randy graduated from Eureka College in 1994. He played basketball and tennis and was also a member of the TKE fraternity. Randy has been serving State Farm customers since 2001. His office is located at the corner of Knoxville and Forest Hill in Peoria. You can reach him at 309-322-8150 or at randybegole.com. That's Randy, BEGOLE.com.
The Best of Our Knowledge explores topics on learning, education, and research. Coming up, there are about 600 venomous snake species worldwide, and I hope you never run into one. A new study looks into how some venomous snakes attack their prey. Vipers, elapids, and colubrids all have different behaviors when striking, and we will learn all about it. You're listening to The Best of Our Knowledge. I'm Madeline Reynolds. Have you ever come across a venomous snake? Well, I hope you never will. There are about 600 venomous snake species worldwide, and 200 of them have venom potent enough to cause serious harm or even death. Scary, right? Well, these snakes have different ways of attacking and striking their prey. Elapids, colubrids, and vipers are some species of venomous snakes that all have different techniques and behaviors for attack or to defend themselves. These snakes have evolved to make sure their venom seeps into their prey as they either rapidly bite, move side to side with their fangs, or clamp onto their prey to immobilize or kill. I spoke with Alistair Evans, a professor of biology at Monash University in Australia, to learn more.
So there are around 4,000 species of snakes around the world, and about 600 of them are venomous. So not every snake you see will be venomous. Obviously, there are snakes like pythons that are not venomous at all. They capture and kill their prey by constriction, by wrapping their body around and closing tight. But the ones that we were looking at fall in the three main families of venomous snakes. They are the vipers, the elapids, and the colubrids. So the vipers are probably the ones that most people are familiar with, and they are many of the snakes that are venomous in the Northern Hemisphere. And so they are interesting in that they often prey on mammals, and they have fangs that fold out of their mouth. So their fangs are so long, they actually fold them back so that they're sitting back parallel in their mouth. And then when they open their mouth to strike, those fangs basically wind down and are ready to puncture into the prey as soon as they get there. So that's one of the things that we really wanted to be able to see in detail and look at it from a number of species. The second family is the elapids, and they are some of the most venomous snakes in the world, and a lot of the snakes in Australia are from this family. And so they have fangs as well, but those fangs are at the front of the mouth and they're fixed, so they don't move. And that means that the fangs tend to be shorter. That doesn't necessarily make them less deadly, but they are just a difference in the way that those fangs are arranged. And then the third family is the colubrids, which is actually the largest family of snakes. But they tend to have the fangs that deliver the venom at the back of the mouth. And that seems like a strange place to put fangs because, well, why not put them right at the front where you're just about to grab anything? But this is one of the quirks of evolution, I guess, that when they evolved, that's where they were. And if you need to be able to envenomate your prey, then you've just got to open your mouth wide enough and get it back towards the back of their mouth. And so what we wanted to do is to be able to compare the ways in which each of these families of snakes lunge towards their prey from a stopped start, how they lunge towards the prey, how fast they go, and then when they reach the prey, how do they put their mouth towards the prey, and how do they puncture their fangs into the prey.
So something that immediately caught my eye when I was reading about the research was that snakes, just in general, have some of the most fast reflexes. But I believe when I was reading venomous snakes have that even more so. So I'd love for you to kind of describe about and talk about these fast reflexes that snakes have.
So snakes are predators, and predators often need to be able to catch their prey. And there's a few different ways they can do that. One is by literally chasing them down, which is being able to move and run as fast as your prey. Another is to be an ambush predator. And so you can hide and be ready to strike as soon as the prey gets close enough. So you're basically waiting for the prey to get to you. And so different snakes have different amounts of that sort of balance between chasing and an ambush. And so we wondered if those speed of movement, the speed of the strike and sort of the reflexes are faster in those snakes that are ambush predators, where the speed right at the beginning of that movement to be able to basically go from stationary to catching their prey will ended up being faster than those that are chasing prey. So when we were doing our experiments, we were really just looking at that, starting from sitting still to moving in order to make that strike.
So how did you conduct your study into these venomous snakes?
We wanted to look at as many different species as possible in order to get an idea of the diversity of snakes across the world and across those three main families. And after looking around Australia, where there are the most venomous snakes in the world, it turned out to be easier to go to Paris because in Paris they have a venom production facility, which basically means they keep more than 50 species of snakes where they are milked frequently for their venom, and the venom is used for medical purposes, including things like making antivenom. So they keep all of those snakes in the one facility, a large number of species. They have obviously professional snake handlers, so they know how to deal with all of these snakes. So we went there in the end because it was going to be the easiest to make our experimental setup in that facility, basically the same place where the snakes were, and we could do everything in a controlled environment, the same environment for all of the snakes. So we set up an experimental arena, and so that was basically plastic clear glass on 5 sides, about 1.5 meters or 5 feet by 1 meter or 3 feet on 5 sides. So it was open on one side. And so we would put the snake on the ground inside the arena. And we had a long metal pole, the sort that they use for snake handling. And on the end of that pole, we put a cylinder of what is medical gel. And so this is basically like ballistics gel, sort of Mythbuster stuff. And so it's fairly soft and the snakes are happy to bite into it. We heated that gel so it was about 38 degrees. So again, looks a bit more like something attractive or perhaps a predator, a warm-blooded object that was coming towards them. And so we would move the fake prey towards the snake, sometimes getting close, sometimes not, and we would wait then for the snake to strike. So we had set up along the long side, which is perpendicular to where the snake was striking, 2 different cameras that were at a slightly different angle, and we can calibrate those cameras so that we can reconstruct anything that moves within those 2 camera frames within 3D. So we can also set up multiple cameras around so we get a really good view of everything if there was anything really that we wanted to see. But our main focus was to be able to see the movement of that snake in very fast speed from the side. And each of those cameras was set to record at 1,000 frames per second so that we could look at every single detail. So we put each of the 36 snake species within this environment. We had them strike at that prey at least 3 times so that we had some replication for how fast they went. And then we could compare how fast each species went, how fast the different families went, and whether there was any different behavior that we could observe in terms of whether they were going to strike immediately or a bit slower. And then after they had actually punctured their fangs into the prey, did they have any other variation in the way that they behaved then?
Are we on?
And welcome back to the broadcast here on EC 103.1 from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth. Kareem Burnett, Matthew Swan on the call. You last heard from us. The first half was ending. A rough first half for the Red Devils. as they were down by 7 with about 5 minutes remaining. Then Beloit was able to go on a 10-0 run to give them a 17-point lead. The Red Devils now trail this game by 17, 42-25. Matthew, we both sitting here courtside watching that first half. What did you see in that first half that caused the Red Devils to trail by this many points?
Well, as I was kind of mentioning in between the break, you know, the Red Devils, they've been able to find a lane to the basket, but like I said, these Beloit defenders, they're so big and you know, they're so great defending in the post. It's really hard to do anything if you're Eureka, because if there's one thing the Red Devils don't have a lot of, it's that build, that physicality, the height. So, you know, as much as Eureka gets a good look, it's really hard for them right now to even get any shot up at all. And as I said, when they do get an open look, you know, they have a hard time connecting as well, especially from behind the arc. That hasn't been one of their strengths this season. So overall, it's really prevented Eureka from keeping this a close game. And, you know, Beloit here at their home, in front of their home crowd, they have an extra boost of momentum. That's really kind of motivated them an extra bit to pull away at the end of the first half.
Absolutely, Matt. Second half getting ready to start here in just a few seconds, and you hit it on the head, Matt. And if I can just add on to what you said, it's been those turnovers, and we don't have an exact count in front of us, but I would have to guess it's already in the double digits, or at least nearing the double digits. On the Red Devils side, it's been some unforced, been some forced turnovers. The Red Devils just have to do a better job at valuing the basketball, and I believe the offense needs to be a bit more free-flowing. Right now we're kind of stagnant, and this is leading to some sloppy play, leading to some sloppy turnovers. The Red Devils really need to, when I say loosen up, I don't mean like, you know, just play more sloppy, but I mean relax a bit. Don't be as tense. Right now, they're letting that Beloit defense get to them as we kick off the second half here. Carter over to Samaj Roy, and it's the Red Devils with their own steal as Coker took it away, up over, and we're going to get a goaltending there. Samaj Roy tried to block it off the backboard. Instead, going to be a goaltending. Basket will go down for Coker.
Well, we were unsure if the Red Devils coming into the second half would play with a different game plan, and already Coker looks like he is all over this Beloit offense. He tracked that ball down and took it away and got the 2 points there for Eureka.
Schubert making his move baseline, swings at Roy, pump fake, gets to a spot, swing past Carter. Beloit moving it around. Lewis with it now. Ball finds back in the hands of Roy. Now up top with Carter. Carter working against Brewer. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Lewis fires the triple, won't go. Pulled down by Schubert. And Schubert over to Glenn. Glenn pump fakes, pull up, mid-range, good. And there's Thomas Glenn with that unorthodox jump shot, but he's able to get it fall, a Wisconsin native.
Yeah, great job to set his feet, get his defender in the air, and that's what really allows him to be accurate on the shot.
Carter inside Richardson, and a lob pass there to Richardson as Glenn was able to deflect that. So ball will stay here with the Red Devils. It'll be Micah Brewer to inbound it.
Well, that's a very dangerous pass there from Carter. That could have very easily gone a completely different direction.
We attempted that pass in the first half. Actually, that was the first play of the half as Micah Brewer wide open left corner won't get it to go. Brewer offensive rebound. Provost went for it. And we're going to get a foul call going against Provost, holding as he tried to get the ball out of Roy's hand on a potential fast break.
Yeah, going back to that Micah Brewer three, it looked like he hesitated a little bit, and, you know, by the time he decided to release the basketball, he came up a little bit short. So, again, it's one of those instances Eureka needs to be a little bit faster in making a decision.
Absolutely. It's Schubert with it now. Over to Roy. Beloit slow things down here, moving the ball themselves. Lewis inside to Glenn. Glenn rises over Richardson, not able to get it. Ball pulled down by Richardson. Up ahead to Brewer. Lewis picks him up at the half.
And that's what we want to see from Eureka. Multiple defenders crashing to the basket to get the offensive board.
Richardson with another attempted lob pass there. Instead, he's going to try to back Glenn down. Is able to, not able to get it. and Richardson is able to draw the foul as Glenn was too zealous on his contact there.
Eureka College basketball is made possible by Randy Begole, a State Farm agent in Peoria. Randy graduated from Eureka College in 1994. He played basketball and tennis and was also a member of the Teak fraternity. Randy has been serving State Farm customers since 2001. His office is located at the corner of Knoxville and Forest Hill in Peoria. You can reach him at 309-322-8150 or at randybegole.com. That's Randy, Begole.com.
Beloit with it now as Schubert fires up a top of the key triple, and Schubert is able to knock it down to give the Buccaneers tied for that largest lead of the night, a 19-point lead here for the Buccaneers. So Richardson with it now, gets it inside Coker. Coker hand off Provost. Provost pull up mid-range good. Jackson Provost is able to stop the bleeding just a little bit with that pull up midi.
Yeah, that's a great job by Provost to find balance on offense. Again, stopping his feet, and he's not forcing any shots, which is always a positive as well.
Roy, baseline pass, Schubert, corner triple, good. And it's Schubert knocking back-to-back triples to give his team now their largest lead of the night, a 20-point deficit for the Red Devils.
And again, Beloit finding a lot of spacing in between their defenders right now, and that's really allowing them to keep their possessions on target.
Coker attacking, scoring. Andrew Coker is able to put it on the deck and get to the basket to give the Red Devils, cut that lead down to 18 for the Red Devils. Ball now in the hands of Anthony Carter. Brewer adding ball pressure against him. Carter play calling, looking for Roy, finds Roy. Roy with it now. Over to Lewis. Lewis swing pass. Carter left wing triple. No good. Nearly tracked down. Will be tracked down by Roy, and Provost fighting for it. Ball going to go out against Provost. Ball possession will stay here with Beloit.
Yeah, maybe Provost should have let that one go. To be honest with you, I don't think Roy would have gotten there in time. But, you know, not much you can do about it now. All you can do is get back on defense, make a stop here.
And some substitutions here for the Red Devils, as it's Gonzalez checking in for Provost. Substitution pattern maintaining for the Red Devils. Schubert with it. Over to Carter. It's Lewis with it now. Lewis swings cross court to Roy. Roy finds the open Carter. Carter will pull, and Carter will knock it down. Beloit has scored a three-pointer on 3 of their last 4 made baskets. Lead now sits at 21 for Beloit.
Yeah, Carter, who's averaging 13 points a game, after knocking down that triple, he is just continuing to expand on that three-point percentage here for Beloit in this game. They've been very successful. Again, it all has to do with spacing, and one of the things I said in the early stages of this game for Eureka, if they give their opponent enough room and they start to get comfortable, it's going to be a very dangerous game for the Red Devils.
Absolutely, Matthew. You couldn't have said it any better. It'll be Gonzalez to inbound it. Finds Carter over to Brewer. Brewer making his move. Finds the cutting Carter. Carter baseline, a lot of contact. Kicked it to Coker, but was fouled before the pass. The ball will stay here with the Red Devils. It'll be an on-the-ground common foul. I believe that foul going to go against Roy. 16 minutes remaining in this second half. It'll be Gonzalez to inbound it. Red Devils trail by 21, 53-32. And it's Brewer finding a cutting Richardson to cut that lead down to 19. Guys are just tuning in. It's been Kareem Burnett and Matthew Swan on the call all night for EC 103.1 from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth. The Red Devils trail this game by 19. Schubert testing his luck with his third three-point attempt of this half. He knocked down 2. Gonzalez swing past Carter. Finds the cutting Brewer. Brewer get it inside. Floater won't go. Pulled down by Carter. Carter tried to push it. Was momentarily stopped by Coker. Will get it up ahead to Roy. Schubert with it now out to Lewis.
Oh, see, I think the move for Brewer on that previous play, you need to establish getting to the free throw line, because right now the Red Devils are struggling to knock down these shots.
And it's Roy with a left wing triple to give the Buccaneers a 22-point lead. They're going to take a timeout. We're going to take a timeout ourselves, but we'll be right back with basketball coverage here on EC 103.1.
Eureka College basketball is made possible by Metamora Kirby Foods. They are 100% employee-owned, with a deli, produce section, and meat department with its own in-house butcher. Metamora Kirby Foods is open from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m., 7 days a week. They are located on West Mount Vernon Street in Metamora. Get more information at kirbyfoods.com.
And welcome back to the broadcast here on EC 103.1. Green Burnett, Matthew Swan on the call. It was a three-point triple by Beloit to give them a 22-point lead. That triple came at the hands of their leading scorer, Samad Roy, that sent the Red Devils into a timeout. And now trail this game by 22, 56-34 is the score. Matthew, with 15 minutes of game clock remaining, what will the Red Devils need to do to make this a fight?
Well, I think that, maybe for Eureka in this situation, as Ben Carter knocks down a triple, I think for Eureka what they have to do is kind of mimic Beloit. And that's, you do that by finding balance on offense. The Bucks have been able to do that all game long. They've been connecting from behind the arc pretty frequently, especially here in this half. So if Eureka can kind of start to mimic Beloit in that sense and start to extend on your point total, as we saw Ben Carter do just a minute ago, that would be very crucial if Eureka wants to come back into this ball game.
Absolutely, Matt. And let's see if the Red Devils have any fight left in them. 14 and a half remaining. We got first-time substitution here for Cater. He'll be subbing in for the Red Devils. Zach Cater, the freshman. He's a junior guard. This is just his first year here for the Red Devils. And Cater bringing it up. Carter guarding him. Cater over to Coker. Coker looking for Carter. Carter faked handoff and cut back door. Now he relocates to the three. Not able to get that one to fall. Ben Carter on that miss. Blake Logston has also checked into this game. Dylan Logston, his brother, hasn't been checked in since the first half. It's Cater with the ball now, making his move against Carter. Crossover move, Cater. Step back midi jumper, no good.
Well, and I like this decision from Coach Wilde to put in one of the guys we don't see quite frequently.
And it's Roy going for an attempted dunk. Ball was stripped there by Blake Logsden. He tried to stop an open dunk, and it'll be Roy getting to the line here.
But yeah, like I was saying, I think it's a good idea by Coach Wilde here to put in guys that we don't usually see. And like you said, Kareem, Zach Cater, he seems to be a pretty nifty player. I personally haven't seen him play this year, but he does tend to get to the basket a lot. And a lot of that has to do with his dribbling skills. He's a very crafty player, and that is what allows him to get to the basket. As we can see, he's averaging 1.5 points per game.
Cater does seem to have a bit of a quick, shifty handle based off that dribble move, and it's Roy missing a second free throw. So lead will remain at 20 in favor of Beloit. And it's going to be ball over to Coker. Coker driving two Beloit defenders, picks him up. Coker getting to the hook and is able to get it. Andrew Coker, he's been the go-to scorer so far tonight for the Red Devils. Davis with it, baseline. He's stopped by Cater. Ball now in the hands of Beloit. And it's Reed. Swing pass to Roy. Roy, right wing triple won't fall. Ball pulled down by Davis. They're going to get a ball on the ground. I believe foul going to go against Cater.
Again, Eureka playing a very dangerous game. You cannot be leaving Roy that wide open. And again, they're catching a break by that fact that he wasn't able to knock down that triple. But that, is something they're going to have to look out for.
Lead is at 18 for Beloit. It'll be Carter to inbound it. Carter over to Reed. Walker. And ball is stolen by Blake Logsden. A blur in the backcourt. He's able to get that steal. Draws the contact. And Blake Logsden going to earn himself a trip to the line as Andrew Coker took a hard foul there as he tried to clean up that Blake Logsden miss. But Coker going to get up and shake it off. I believe that was Nolan Kerr who took that fall.
Yeah, either way, that was the sound that we were able to pick up, that was not a pretty sound.
Absolutely not.
Eureka College basketball is made possible by Metamora Kirby Foods. They are 100% employee-owned, with a deli, produce section, and meat department with its own in-house butcher. Metamora Kirby Foods is open from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m., 7 days a week. They are located on West Mount Vernon Street in Metamora. Get more information at kirbyfoods.com. See, this right here is a great example of Eureka establishing the idea of getting to the free throw line. This is probably their best opportunity they have at scoring.
And Blake Lodgson going to split those free throws there. One miss, one make. Lead is at 17 for Beloit. It's Roy with it now. Over to Reed. Reed getting the brush screen from Schubert. Reed snaking inside. And it's going to be Colin DeLary forcing the turnover there as Reed lost his dribble trying to get inside.
And another thing here for the Red Devils, they're making it really hard on themselves right now by, especially in the first half, by moving too quickly. If they are able to get to the free throw line, that'll be a very easy way for them to make it easier on themselves to score. So hopefully they can start to do that as we progress in the second half.
Cade finds the cutting Jonah Loft. Pull up mid-range, won't go. Ball now in the hands of Reed. Coming up right wing with it. It's Roy with it, center court. Finds Davis on the right side. Davis, screen from Emerson. Gets to the free throw range jumper, won't go. Offensive rebound, pulled down by Roy. He's going to get fouled against Kerr. And ball will stay here in possession of Beloit. Not quite yet in the bonus yet, so it won't be free throws. Instead, it will be free throws here. It's going to be Roy. 1-and-1 free throw attempt. I believe we're just in a single bonus here.
Yeah, and you can kind of understand here, Eureka, as we are kind of approaching more in depth of this second half. You know, they're starting to allow the Buccaneers to get more offensive boards. And, you know, overall, the Red Devils have been playing pretty sloppy, but it seems like, especially now in terms of collecting the rebounds, they're kind of starting to fade away on that aspect as well. And, you know, I think right now Eureka's maybe a bit mentally checked out.
And Roy going 1 for 2 on that trip at the line. I misspoke and thought we were in a single bonus, but apparently it was a shooting foul. Don't know how they got a shooting foul on a rebound attempt, but I'm not a referee, I'm a broadcaster, so I'll do my job and let them do theirs. Jonah Loft with it now, hands it off. Logsdon, top of the key triple. Blake Logsdon not able to get anything on that triple, and it's going to be a block, so it will stay here with the Red Devils. Ref's going to say that a Beloit defender tipped the ball, and that's the reason that led to the Blake Logsdon miss. So ball will stay here with the Red Devils. About 12 minutes of game clock remaining. 58-40 is the score. Red Devils trail by 18. Corner triple up from Dallaire and good. Colin Dallaire scores the triple to cut the lead down to 15.
Well, I asked Colin before the game, I said, how many points are you getting? He said 2, and that's a triple, so he already surpassed his answer.
It's Emerson with it, over to Davis. Roy with it now. Walker making his move. Tight roping, and Blake Logsdon with some great defense there to force Walker to step out of bounds. Ball will stay here. Ball will be in the opposite direction in the Red Devils' favor. Red Devils down by 15 with 11.5 remaining. This game isn't blown out of the water yet. We've seen that Beloit was able to go on a 10-0 run to push the lead to 17 to close the first half. Who's to say the Red Devils can't go on their own 10-0 run to get the lead down? As Colin Dallaire with a spin pass to Cater. Cater up top. Kerr, top of the key triple. Not able to get anything on that one, but the Red Devils will clean it up and get the basket there to cut the lead. Now down to 13 with 11 minutes remaining in the second half. Matthew, Red Devils still in this game.
Yeah, and I think with the way they're moving on offense right now, after that Colin Dallaire triple, and then obviously the putback right there, 5 points for Eureka in roughly the last minute. if they're able to keep playing like this, there's a very high chance that they're able to come back in this game and make it competitive, but you have to get the open looks. For example, we saw Nolan Kerr. He tried to go for the triple, but right now I think he's a little nervous. He isn't 100% really
His first
set.
shot of the game, yeah.
Yeah, and so, he's still warming up, so you have to, at least right for now, take the smarter shots, get closer to the rim, and make it easier on yourself.
And it's Glenn inside against Dallaire, and Glenn able to stop the bleeding for his team as he's able to score the basket over Dallaire, pushing the lead back up to 15. Loxton outside Dallaire. Dallaire spinning, driving, making his move, not able to get it. Ball pulled down by Roy. And we're going to get a foul call going against Dallaire. Tried to stop the break there, and Roy going to be fouled there. He gets up a bit agitated from that foul, shaking off his right arm.
Yeah, and right now it looks like Dallaire is moving a bit too quick right now. Coach Wilde telling him to calm down a little bit. And he went up for the shot, but that was right after he kind of took a fall back on defense. So he has to remember he has 4 other teammates on the floor with him, and try to utilize that opportunity. Your teammates are there. You have to trust and rely on those guys to be able to help you out.
It's Glenn with it now, top of the key. He has Dallaire guarding him. Roy gonna settle to pass it to Reed. Reed making his move. Swing past top of the key. Now it's Carter getting a brush screen from Glenn, making his move. Floater over Dallaire, no good. And rebound is secured by Blake Logston. Ball now up ahead to Cater. He's right court with it, and we're gonna get a timeout here from Coach Wilde. Want to talk it over with his guys for these final 10 minutes of this game. As the Red Devils trail by 15, they'll take a break. We'll take one as well, but we'll be right back with basketball coverage here on EC 103.1.
Eureka College basketball is made possible by Heartland Bank and Trust, serving 48 communities throughout Illinois and eastern Iowa, including Washington, Metamora, El Paso, Germantown Hills, Carlock, and in Eureka. Their main branch is on Main Street downtown, and their drive-up and ATM is nearby on Center Street. And find Heartland Bank and Trust anywhere at htmbank.com.
Welcome back to the broadcast here on EC 103.1. Kareem Burnett, Matthew Swan on the call, getting ready for the home stretch of this game, the final stretch of this game. Final 10 minutes of this ball game. Red Devils trail by 15. 60-45 is the score. Matthew, we were just talking about how the Red Devils could still show some fight and try to come out with a win here as they aren't quite away from this game. What do you think the Red Devils will need to do to make things interesting here?
I think they need to kind of start to prove their angle a little bit, find the right spacing like I keep mentioning, but find an angle that allows you to get a shot up. And I'm not talking about from behind the arc. I'm talking about shots, mid-range shots, because that is what seems to be working for them so far. I think it's a really good idea by Coach Wilde to take a timeout there after Eureka was able to gain some momentum and pick up on offense a little bit. But hopefully, they need to execute, and it's a 2-step plan. So hopefully they can improve on offense going forward.
Cater coming out of that timeout. That pull-up mid-range won't go, so lead will remain at 15 for Beloit with about 9.5 remaining in this ball game. Ball now in the hands of Schubert. Cater guarding him. Schubert with a big-to-big screen from Glenn. Roy attacking baseline, using his size, getting to the basket, and scores over Kerr. Lead is back up to 17.
I didn't realize it until now, but Roy is very quick at stopping his feet, and he does a great job there going up against Kerr, knocking down the extra 2.
Got some foul calls here. A turnover. Ball going to go in the opposite possession. It'll be the Red Devils with the ball here to inbound it. It'll be Blake Logs in the inbound as this squad trails by 17 with a little over 9 remaining. They try to make this game competitive. It's Cater with it now. Schubert guarding him. Thought about the pass to Locke. Instead, going to go to his pull-up midi. Not able to get it. Ball is pulled down by Beloit. And we're going to get a foul call on the ground going against Kerr. Ball will stay here with Beloit. It'll be Geiger to inbound it. Carter walking it up.
Again, I think Cater could take a little more time on that possession. He was heavily defended, hence why he wasn't able to make the shot. Again, you have 4 other guys on the floor to help you out, so you have to be a bit smarter on your shot selection.
Carter, screen from Glenn. Over to Geiger. Inside Glenn. Glenn working against Delaire. Going back to that post up. And lefty hook, no good. Ball going to go out of bounds off of Delaire. Ball will remain in possession of Beloit. 8:33 remaining in this ball game.
Well, Delaire has been doing such a great job defending in the post, but this is where the help defense needs to come in. Again, we've already mentioned Eureka is oversized, and you cannot just rely on one guy in your team to make a defensive stop. So hopefully Eureka can start to have a few more guys shift over in the post when Beloit starts to make their move.
Absolutely, Matt. We'll see if the Red Devils take heed to that. That's Carter inbounded here. Looking for Geiger. Geiger not able to get open. Finally gets open, and Logsdon nearly stole it. It's going to be Carter. Pulls it up. Delaire will come down with the rebound. Up ahead to Cater. Cater, right court. Over to Delaire.
It's a good job here to slow things down for Eureka. They can, with 8 minutes left, they can still make this a very competitive game.
Cater, crossover against Geiger. Pull up midi. Good! Zach Cater is able to get into his bag with the pull-up mid-range over Geiger. And one potential three-point play here, which could be huge baskets for the Red Devils. 8 minutes remaining. They currently trail by 15. A chance to get it to 14 here. And Cater missed back-to-back pull-up mid-ranges, but his confidence never swayed as he went right back to that same move, getting that isolation on the elbow, using his speed, his shifty crossover, and using his verticality to get into his pull-up. And he's able to knock it down, and the free throw lead now cut down to 14 in favor of Beloit, 62-48, with just a tad under 8 minutes remaining in this ball game. It's Schubert with it now. Right wing triple, and Schubert is able to get that one to fall, pushing the lead right back up to 17 for Beloit.
Yeah, well, going back to Cater, he has such great ball movement. He has such great player movement, and that crossover move, that seems to be one of his strengths. Really allows him to, again, find the lane, get into that mid-range area, knock down the bucket, and of course the foul always helps as well, being able to convert on the free throw attempt.
Very shifty with his crossover. Colin Delaire attempting to drive. Ball is tapped out of bounds. Last touch by Glenn. So it'll be Red Devils possession. 7:27 remaining in this first half.
Red Devils catching a little break, but like you said, Kareem, they do hold on to the basketball.
And Delaire is blocked by Glenn there. So it'll be a turnover for the Red Devils. It'll be Carter bringing it up left court. He has Cater guarding him, looking for Roy inside. Roy trying to get the smaller Nolan matched up against him. Over to Schubert. Roy finally gets it. Gonna clear out. Throws it inside. Outside to Glenn. Corner three is good. Thomas Glenn able to knock down the corner three. And the lead has been pushed up to 20 in favor of Beloit, 68-48.
Well, Eureka left Glenn wide open in that corner. Can't stress enough how important it is to get on your man and make a stop.
And Cater with a nice pump fake to get open there. Not able to get that mid-range to fall. Blake Logsdon stole it, and Roy nearly stole it back. Will steal it as he forced the ball off of Logsdon's leg. So it'll be Beloit possession here.
And, you know, despite being down 20, the Red Devils are making really great reads down on the court, but they're just unable to finish the execution, unable to continue to bring the ball down the floor. And you have to think, you know, if they are able to make that next step, what kind of situation does that put them in? But unfortunately, they haven't been able to complete that step in.
Thomas going inside, blocked by Coker. Coker pushing it center court now. Over to Richardson. Richardson finds Gonzalez, top of the key triple, thought about it. Instead gets inside for a floater, not able to get it. Ball tracked down by Coker, and he's able to score off of the offensive rebound after initially getting the block on the defensive side. Andrew Coker, even though the Red Devils have trailed for much of this game and currently trail by 18, Coker has been the one bright spot for the Red Devils in this game, both offensively, defensively, and showing hustle as Davis misses a right wing triple.
Yeah, and that's what we need. We need guys like Coker in the paint collecting the boards.
Ball will be in possession of the Red Devils with 5:48 remaining in this game. 68-50. Not quite enough time to make any serious noise happen, but it's basketball. You never know what could happen. If the Red Devils go out swinging and show a lot of fight in this game, things could get interesting here if they try to hold on in these final 5.5 minutes. It's Coker inside, posting up against Davis. Not able to get it. Davis tracks down the rebound. Ball up ahead to Roy. He has it on the left side of the court now, going against Kerr. Switched off on Richardson, getting inside, and Roy is able to draw the contact and gets to the free throw line. Samaj Roy has ended up on the floor a lot of times in this ball game. He's been aggressive attacking the paint, and Samaj Roy, I've played against him a few times in open gyms. We are from the same city. We're both from the west side of Chicago. He went to North Lawndale High School. My cousins graduated from North Lawndale High School, so I am familiar with his game. And I would say right now in this game, he's kind of showed the embodiment of a typical Chicago basketball player. They tend to be aggressive when attacking the paint, using their speed, using their shiftiness. And a lot of that can be credited to Derrick Rose, who's been idol for a lot of guys growing up playing basketball. And a lot of guys, including myself, not as good. Tried to emulate Derrick Rose's basketball style. Obviously, I failed in doing that. That's why I'm here in the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth with you, Matt.
That was a good twist. I see what you did there. No, but even Roy, he does such a great job at fighting through his opponent's chest. He has good balance, and that's what allows him to get to the basket and collect all these points.
And it's Roy with it now. Dump off pass, Davis up over Richardson. Got a block on there. Ball now in the hands of Gonzalez. Gonzalez swing past Logsdon. Logsdon, great spin move against Davis, but it's Carter with the help side defense, able to tap it away. We're going to have a jump ball. Ball going to stay here with the Red Devils. 4:40 remaining in this ball game.
Yeah, Eureka continues to move way too quickly on offense, and the turnovers also continue to pile up. So, like you said, Kareem, as we approach the under 5-minute mark, right now it seems a little, I don't want to say impossible, but
you'd have to be hopeful.
Yeah, the chances of Eureka coming back in this game are very low.
Richardson, baseline jumper, no good. Coker hustling for it, is able to tip it in. Gonna get another basket there for Coker to cut it down to 18-point lead, 70-52 in favor of Beloit College.
Yeah, and I will say this, Red Devils offense has definitely started to produce more in this second half. But going into their next game, you have to think, apply what you learned in that first half, improve on the mistakes that you made and start to apply that to your next game. That way you can be productive in both halves, and that's what Eureka lacks. They're, especially this season, they really stand out in only one half, but you want to try to distribute that success, and hopefully that's what they can do as they get ready for their next game.
Roy inside, working against Kerr. Roy up over and is able to draw contact against Kerr, and it'll be Roy heading back to the line here for Beloit. And there he is. I don't really like that matchup. Kerr has been guarding Roy for the entirety of this second half, at least as much as Kerr has been in the game. And Roy has used his physicality and verticality instantly every time he has that Kerr matchup, either forcing help side or a double team from Eureka, which leads to an open three for Beloit, or as we just seen, getting to the basket, scoring, or, and sometimes both, drawing the foul against Kerr. And he's just been way too physical and too, dare I say, strong for Kerr to kind of guard him on that low post, as Roy is able to knock down both of the free throws, pushing the lead back up to 20 for Beloit.
Well, and also Beloit is, like I said, they're known for their physicality, but they are also known for getting away with a lot of physical play. And like we've seen throughout this game, the referees aren't going to call a lot of offensive fouls. They let the Buccaneers kind of get away with being aggressive in the post. But like you said, the matchup is pretty unfair, and Kerr was taking a lot of contact down in the post. I thought he took an elbow. I'm surprised, there was no whistle, but not much you can do about it now.
Agree with you there, Matt, and we've seen that from both Davis and Roy, as both of them have, even though they're listed as guards and a bit they're both about 6'1", 6 foot, 6'2" guards. They've both been able to use their angles, their elbows, their shoulders to create their shots on a low block. And I wouldn't say it's by luck or coincidence, as both of them did attend the same high school. They both went to North Lawndale High School up in the west side of Chicago in the North Lawndale area. So maybe that's something they've worked on together. And like I was kind of hinting at a few minutes ago, that is a, dare I say, Chicago style of basketball, especially on the west side. We did grow up playing basketball a bit more aggressive and rough, as Blake Logsdon showing some aggression himself while defending Roy and nearly getting the steal there.
Yeah, it looks like Blake Logsdon is starting to kind of increase his intensity on defense, but maybe a bit too late.
Absolutely is. Beloit now in the free throw, the single free throw, so it'll be a 1-and-1, as it'll be Roy going back to the line here to add on to this lead for Beloit. And Kerr's going to come out of the game, and we're going to see some first minutes here from Moosey, Halem Moosey, junior guard here for the Red Devils, his first minutes of the night. And we'll see what he can do. He played JV last year, junior varsity, now he's moved up to a varsity player. Hasn't seen a lot of minutes so far in this season, but he did some tonight with under 4 minutes remaining. And we'll see what he can do. It's Coker with it, driving inside. Coker picks up his dribble, swing pass, Logsdon, left wing triple, good.
Dang.
Blake Logsdon able to knock down that triple, cutting the lead down to 15. And we haven't seen any Dylan Logsdon in this second half. Still wondering if he's trying to recover from that ankle injury that he received before the season started. And there's Davis instantly going to a post-up versus Moosey. And Moosey able to draw the charge call there against Davis. And I believe that's something we should have been going to all day, as Davis and Roy and even a bunch of the other guys like Glenn, and we've seen some from Carter as well, have been posting up. We should have been trying to draw some charges here and using those guys' physicality against them.
Well, and actually, you were just mentioning Dylan Logsdon. I like to call that the Dylan Logsdon move, because last season he was so great at drawing the charge. And, some guys say, he was flopping. But, it is a good move. And I think Eureka did the right thing right there by being able to draw the foul and get this basketball back in their possession.
Demaje Moore's checked back into this game. Haven't seen any of him in the second half as well. He did get a few minutes early in the first half. And Moore pulls up for a right wing triple, won't get it. Ball is tracked down by Glenn. It's Carter with it now. Carter going to slow it down. 2:45 remaining in this game. Davis with it now. Top of the key to Glenn. Glenn looking for Lewis. Finds Lewis. Carter wants it inside. Instead going to opt to get the screen. And we're going to get another offensive foul as Glenn ducked his shoulder on that attempted screen right there.
Yeah, so all of a sudden it looks like Eureka is finally getting the calls that they deserved earlier in this ball game.
And it's Cater with it now. 2:30 remaining in this game. And this game is all but over necessarily. And it's Moosey with it now. Davis guarding him. Up top, Logsdon. Logsdon finds Cater in the corner. 2:15 on the game clock. 10 on the shot clock. 9 on the shot clock now. Moore, left wing triple is good. Demaje Moore is able to hit a triple and cuts the lead down to 12.
Well, as we're approaching the end of this game, the Red Devils are starting to take a lot more three-pointers, and surprisingly, they're knocking them down, and they haven't been extremely successful in the first half, but it's good to see that change.
Davis pull up mid-range after the screen from Glenn. Push the lead back up to 14. Cater with it now. Carter picking him up. Carter not losing any of that defensive intensity, even though the game is practically over here. And Moosey getting the floppy action there. Gets into the mid-range. Able to get it. Halem Moosey is able to knock down that three there. And we're going to get a timeout here from Coach Chip Wilde with about 91 seconds remaining in this second half. We'll take a quick timeout ourselves, and we'll be right back with basketball coverage here on EC 103.1.
Eureka College basketball is made possible by City Blue Technologies of Peoria, an Epson distributor serving Central Illinois. City Blue offers Epson Precision Core heat-free printing as an alternative to laser printers. City Blue was founded in 1968 and serves more than 5,000 active customers. Learn more about sustainable printing solutions from City Blue Technologies at citybluetechnologies.com.
Game clock's at 30 seconds. This is about 3 possessions. And welcome back to the broadcast here on EC 103.1 from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth. Kareem Burnett, Matthew Swan on the call. Red Devils trail this game by 12, 74-62, with about 91 seconds of play remaining. Matthew, we were discussing over the break, what are the realistic chances of the Red Devils making an attempted or even successful comeback here?
Well, I was saying, if the Red Devils can keep up this pace of knocking down the triple, I think they can make it a very interesting game and shock a lot of these Beloit fans. But unfortunately, I don't think they're going to be able to keep up this pace. They've knocked down, I believe, at least 2 3-pointers in the last minute or so, and that is a very hard pace to keep up. And that also means they're going to have to make a lot of defensive stops.
And a near fast break bucket there for Beloit as Thomas Glenn was able to leak out, and DeMondre Moore was forced to foul him on that possession. So it'll be Glenn going to the free throw line for 2 attempted free throws to try to boost this lead for Beloit.
Yeah, and Glenn is such an interesting shooter. We haven't, he seems like, based off of his build, he seems like he's a post player, but we've seen him take a lot of threes in this game, and we were talking about it. His form is just so interesting and unique. But yeah, he's been able to knock down a few.
I'm kind of wondering, is he switching hands? Because at one point it seemed like I seen him shoot with his left hand, but I've seen him shoot a bunch of right-hand jumpers as he just made 2 free throws with his right hand. So I'm kind of interested here, and I almost want to ask him after the game, is he ambidextrous? It's Moosey with it now. Hands off. Joel Ewald is checked into the game. Swing past to Cater. Cater making his move, getting inside, out to Logsdon, nearly lost it. 12 on the shot clock. Got to make his move. Picks up his dribble. Ewald from downtown. Not able to get it. Ball pulled down by Roy. 58 seconds remaining in this ball game. And Red Devils nearly forced a turnover. Instead, it's going to be a foul going against Moore. And since we are in the bonus, it'll be a 1-and-1 free throw for Beloit. Make one, get another one.
Well, and I got to be honest, let's go back to that Ewald three-pointer that he just took a second ago. That was a pretty deep three, I'm going to be honest, but he was accurate. And given the situation, it seems pretty difficult right now for Eureka to come back. So given the situation, I actually like that idea from Ewald, especially because he doesn't get a lot of chances to make an appearance in these regular season ball games. So I think it's good for him to kind of test out his strengths and weaknesses and see where he fits on the floor.
Absolutely, Matthew. You couldn't have said it any better myself. And for now, Lewis misses that second free throw there. And it's going to be Red Devil basketball with about 55 seconds remaining. They trailed this game by 14, 76-72. As Cater walks it up with Carter guarding him. Cater making his move, gets to his spot, midi, no good. Cater is comfortable shooting that mid-range, just hasn't been able to get it to fall today at all, as Carter has it now.
Yeah, and he was kind of drifting to his left on a shot attempt, which makes it a bit more difficult to knock down, but he's done a great job at, for the most part, being accurate, finding the space to get the shot up in the first place, which is something the Red Devils weren't able to say necessarily in the first half. But overall, the second half for Eureka has been much better, and I like the progression. I don't know whether or not they decided to change up their game plan during halftime, but they do seem like they are a much better team in the second half.
Absolutely, Matt.
And the physicality just continues to be an aspect in this ballgame. Less than 30 seconds to go, and we're still seeing a lot of guys kind of give each other a little nudge.
And things getting a bit scrappy here. The crowd getting into it. And the crowd is calling for the mop guy to come mop up a spot on the court. I've been seeing them all night talk back and forth to the crowd. To some of the players, I'm pretty sure that's their friend, and they just, cranking jokes on him. They're going to give him a standing ovation as he head back to his seat. It'll be Logston at the free throw line. And Logston able to knock that down, cuts it down to a 15-point lead, less than 30 seconds remaining. Roy with it, and we're going to get a blocking call going against Moosey.
So the Red Devils could potentially have the last possession of this ball game, but I'm sure they're going to try to hurry this up and get a shot out, get as many shots as they can in these last couple of seconds.
Absolutely, Madden. See how that goes. And it's Roy at the line here. 27 seconds of game clock remaining. Glenn pulls it down. Out to Carter. Holding the ball here. Cater guarding him. About 5 seconds separating the shot from the game clock. Carter going to just hold it out here and take the team turnover for Beloit. And that's going to do it. Things start to wind down here. 6 seconds of game clock remaining. And Red Devils going to get it in. And we got some unnecessary calling here by the ref. It's 4 seconds of game clock remaining. Just let the game run out. No need to really be super technical towards the end of the game. But I guess the game plan is the game plan. And Moore going to walk the clock out. Lewis guarding him. And that'll do it. Final score 77-63 in favor of Beloit College. Red Devils with their 4th straight loss of the season. Excuse me, I believe this is loss. This is loss number 5 in a row. So 5-game skid here for the Red Devils. But this isn't conference play. That doesn't start till next week. Matthew, last remarks before we close it down.
Yeah, well, as always, I like to end up on a positive. Eureka in the second half did much better. Unfortunately, they weren't able to play through the physicality for the majority of the ball game, and I feel like that is a huge part as to why they were unable to come up with a win tonight.
And that'll do it, Matthew. Our next broadcast of Eureka College basketball will be Saturday, November 22nd, as they visit Monmouth College. You can listen to that broadcast right here on EC 103.1. Coverage begins at 1 p.m. live from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth. Eureka College basketball is made possible by City Blue Technologies, a leading Epson dealer serving Central Illinois. Potter Rentals of Gilman, Illinois, owned and operated by Ernie and Barb Potter, both Eureka College class of 1965. Heartland Bank and Trust and Randy Beagle, State Farm agent in Peoria, Eureka College class of 1994. And by Kirby Foods and Metamora. The executive producer of Eureka College basketball is Dr. John Malone. Tonight's studio operator was Michelle McDonald. On behalf of my broadcast partner, Matthew Swan, this is Kareem Burnett, and thanks for listening in.